Well, hello. This one is going to be, well, controversial. And why is it going to be controversial? Because anything dealing with men and discrimination against men, or pretty much anything having to do with men, is controversial. Other than, of course, calling men evil. That for some reason is never controversial. That's just accepted, it seems. But let's get into it. From the New American, man, oh man, global study finds that men face more discrimination. Oh, we'll see how this one's received. I am a woman. Hear me roar about having more. This reflects reality, according to new global study finding that contrary to the media, academia, entertainment access narrative, men face more discrimination worldwide and in the United States than women do. Even in the United States, yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I feel it. We generally don't really talk about discrimination that men face. It pretty much just kind of gets swept under the rug. Men are expected to be the strong ones that get over it and move on and don't say anything about it, so nobody ever says anything about it. So, as Science Daily reports, researchers from the University of Missouri and University of Essex in the United Kingdom say a new way of measuring gender inequality is fairer to both men and women and presents a simplified but more accurate picture of people's well-being than previous calculations. Good. I believe if I read the study, the original study for this, that their reasoning was the old criteria was quite a bit more biased towards women. This is more gender neutral, their way of measuring the gender inequality. Continuing, the new basic index of gender inequality, the biggie. The new basic index of gender inequality, biggie. Okay, BIGI, biggie, focused on three factors: educational opportunities, that's a good factor; healthy life expectancy, great factor; and overall life satisfaction, that's a good factor as well. Those are all three very good factors to measure by. Okay, let's see. Where's my mouse? There we go. Note, the researchers, like most everyone else, use the term gender here when the proper one is sex. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. As for the study's results, that's just a little nitpicky. I just report. I think that's just a little nitpicky, but okay. As for the study's results, the Daily Mail informs women are better off in more countries than men are, a new study has found. Let me reread that. Women are better off in more countries than men are, a new study has found. A method that assesses the forms of hardship and discrimination facing men and women has revealed males have it harder in 91 countries out of 134. Women were disadvantaged in only 43 countries, and I'll bet you most of us probably know a good majority of which of those countries are. In the developed world, it is going to be men who are kneecapped and discriminated against and hindered. We just generally don't say anything and we move on with it, and that's that. We don't seek special treatment. But with the feminization of today's males, I believe we're going to start seeing more lawsuits by males and more instances of discrimination against males being reported. I do know for a fact we have quite a few Title IX lawsuits against colleges by males, quite a few, I believe 19, starting in the beginning of 2019. So I believe we're going to see a change in the way that is viewed, just simply because now things are going to come to the forefront. So let's get going. The study looked at 6.8 billion people around the world. That's a pretty intensive amount of people. Wow, 6.8 billion people around the world, and scientists developed a new way of measuring gender inequality. The UK, the US, and Australia all discriminate against men more, whereas Italy, Israel, and China are harder environments for women, according to the study. Italy, Israel, and China. I could see China. I didn't know Israel. They had just passed a law a couple of years ago that I thought was aimed at helping that. But yeah, UK, US, and Australia definitely discriminate against men more. I can definitely see that. Researchers say this is due to men receiving harsher punishments for the same crime, compulsory military service, and more occupational deaths than women. This won't shock astute, let me reread that. This won't shock astute, intellectually honest, cultural observers. The chivalric code mentality has long granted Western women protected status. Each sex had long had its burdens and advantages, yes, very true, and there is more balance in this regard than the conventional political correct narrative suggests. Yeah, yeah. Men traditionally had more civic authority, but also more responsibility, and that was absolutely true. The draft. Women enjoy the right to vote without having fear of forced military service. Men have the right to vote under fear of forced military service. A good example being that the right to vote was balanced with the responsibility to the military draft. Yes. Having skin in the game, they ran civilization, or at least its government, partially because they had also fought for it, which is true. That is the same thing as in Starship Troopers. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but yes, remember citizenship. Military service guarantees citizenship. So only citizens were allowed to vote, and if you served in the military, you were allowed to vote. So not everybody was allowed to vote. It was based upon what you put into society. So we're going to skip the next paragraph here. No, we're not. Yet then feminism and the equality con came along, using equality as a pretext. Leftists and some well-meaning dupes agitated for female advantages. Okay, so this is a little bit. This sounds a little bit more of an opinion piece, so I will give that caution here. I mean, personally, I do kind of agree with it. There's nothing wrong with feminism, but there is something wrong with feminism in instances when the majority, a good, decent majority of college graduates are female, yet they're pushing for more and more and more females in college. No, that's not equality, and feminism is about equality. At least that's what everybody always tells me. But sometimes what people tell me and what it appears is happening doesn't seem correct. Most obviously, women received the national right to vote in the 1920s, but still now, a century later, don't have to register for selective service. Good point. They got the vote, but they don't have to register for selective service. Thus, women have 50% authority in choosing politicians who can initiate a war, but 0% responsibility in fighting that war. Excellent, excellent, excellent points. Yeah, you can't argue with that point. That was really, that's a great point. Yet double standards are now standard. Consider, despite sanctimonious talk about glass ceilings disadvantaging females within the feminist grievance narrative, there is no whining about women being excluded from working class, male dominated professions, American thinkers Katie L. Dewani wrote last year. There is more than plenty of talk about the dearth of women in science, in engineering, in upper management positions, and as CEOs. But there's no one asking where are all the female garbage collectors, the female elevator technicians, the female landscape laborers, the female oil rig workers. I'll add a couple others in there. The sanitation engineers, those are the sewage workers. The female crab fishermen. I mean, where are those? Yeah, the dangerous, nasty, dirty, icky jobs. They don't even mention it's crickets. This disparity is why men constitute 92% of workplace deaths. Yet there is no effort to equalize the male-female numbers here, as there is when men numerically dominate some coveted sphere. Yeah. So when men have a position that women want, they'll complain and call it discrimination. But when men dominate a field that women don't want, they won't say anything about equality. Okay, we're going to skip a little bit and down here to these bullet points here. If anything, though, the new sex discrimination study understates Western men's disadvantages. Just consider some more disparities that appear to rebound to women's benefit. Quotations are from, and information is according to, jtest28.com. jtest28.com, okay? War. Men, not women, fight and die in battle. Department of Defense. Vietnam casualties, 47,369 men versus 74 women. Murder. Men are murdered at a rate almost 5 times that of women. Yes, I definitely. Jury bias. Oh, absolutely, there's jury bias. Women are acquitted of spousal murder at a rate of 9 times that of men. Wow! Women are acquitted of spousal murder at a rate of 9 times that of men. That is amazing. Court bias. Men are sentenced to 2.8 times longer than women for spousal murder. Yes, absolutely. Look at that. Men average 17 years. Women average 6 years. Wow. So if you kill your husband, you won't get much jail time if you're a woman. If you kill your wife, then you'll get a lot more jail time if you're a man. Ah, crazy. Domestic violence. Even though study after study shows that women are the majority of the initiators of domestic violence, Congress passed the obviously anti-male Violence Against Women Acts and the VAWA too. In addition, while we hear much about how women only earn 77 cents on a man's dollar, there's silence on how men pay 200 cents on a woman's dollar in taxes. Ooh! Men pay 200 cents on a woman's dollar in taxes. Wow! Wow, that's crazy. Of course, there will always be outcome differences between the sexes because men and women are inherently different. Yes, they are. They make different choices. Let's see what else. That's the end of it. Yeah, wow. Men pay 200 cents on a woman's dollar in taxes. That astounds me. Astounds me. Men pay way more taxes. Yeah, okay, so I think that 200 cents way outnumbers that little 77 cents. I'm not even gonna. I mean, I believe it all boils down to choices, anyways. Study after study after study after study shows that once you uh, take into account the different choices that men and women make, the fact that women choose jobs that are more rewarding to their life and choose their life over finances, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. By all means, have a happy life. Men tend to choose career over life, and so they have shitty lives, but they make more money, which I can definitely relate to. So let me know what you guys think. I know this one is a bit controversial, but I definitely want to hear your voices. Give your opinion. Don't stay silent. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is all BS? Is it all true? Are we all being duped? Let me know, guys. Have a good one.